All right, thank you so much for staying with us here on Amka Kenya. Almost said evening edition, but yeah, it is Amka Kenya this particular morning. Welcome once again. Of course, joining us for Politalks this morning is Susan Mangeni, who is the Principal Secretarist at Department for MSME and Cooperatives. Thank you so much for making time.
Thank you.
Good morning.
Morning.
Welcome.
Thank you.
I hope you're having a wonderful morning. Thank you.
Oh, yeah.
All right. So a lot has been happening, and we are here to talk about what exactly is shaping the conversation in the country as far as the Hustler Fund is concerned. And we did see a report by the Kenya National Human Rights Commission. Actually, it's a damning report, and I'd like to start with where it actually concluded. It said the Hustler Fund must be scrapped. Reforming it is insufficient, and its foundational flaws, political motivations and lack of accountability make it unfit for continuation. What do you make of that?
Yeah, so what was the basis for that recommendation? And I'm just wondering why, again, you have invited me to come and give credence by discussing that malicious and unprofessionally done report. Because from the very onset, I do not know if they involve. You see the way research or studies of such magnitude are usually done. You involve the stakeholders during the data collection and thereafter even during the validation. The only time we came across any correspondence from them was the week of 16th of June, when they invited CS and also invited us to attend the launch of this particular report.
So in terms of collecting data, you are not involved?
No correspondences. So we reached out to them, even through the email, asking them why can they share the report first. We look at it, the fact that they never involved us. Okay. They went quiet. And that letter of invitation was stating that they were supposed to unveil the report on the eve of the 2024 finance bill protest anniversary. It was supposed to be on 24th of June. So that tells it all. And if you look
had it been released on the 24th of June, what do you think would have happened?
You know, these are people are enemies of hustlers. And the reason why from the onset I'm ruling it out as a tool that was carefully, maliciously designed to whip emotions, looking at even the timings that they had intended to release it. Look at the title of the book. What does it say? These people are out of reality of our economy and the economic structure. For somebody to say that, what can you do with 500 shillings? It's no wonder they went to release their report in a hotel, in a 4-5-star hotel. If truly they cared and they defend the rights of Kenyans, especially those that the fund is intervening on, those at the bottom of the economic pyramid, over 26 million Kenyans who have benefited from this fund, they should have gone to their spaces. Okay. But they chose to go to the comfort of high-end places to release a report, seeking to block an initiative that is supporting the livelihood of majority of Kenyans. Okay. So for me, because I went through that report, if you look even at the language itself, the language is full of contempt. There is no way in many research findings that we have gone through that you can draw a conclusion an impact-based conclusion, so to speak, based on a 1-year experience of an initiative.
So the 1-year experience, would we say that particular year was true based on the report? Or?
No, and you see, they were casually quoting the report of the Auditor General. And you see, the officer of the Auditor General who attended the meeting said the findings are in Parliament. It's only Parliament that can give final conclusion on the findings, because that's usually another opportunity where the entities, the public entities, will meet to go and make a case, and you can go there with information. When Auditor General draws those opinions. So maybe I did not find this information. And most of those issues, and the report which they were quoting was for the financial year 2022, 2023,
Okay.
when the fund was just barely 7 months old. Like any other initiative, especially which is technology-driven, there are bound to be issues with data reconciliation, which happened in this case. We've had subsequent audit exercise happening, and some of those issues that were being raised there have also since been closed out.
Okay.
So for them to come out and use that without even involving us, at one point they say, oh, they list there our officers, oh, we talked through this. Then from nowhere they say, oh, we did not get, the implementers did not respond. That report is full of inconsistencies. Some of those figures that are being quoted there, I do not know where they're coming from because they're not the true stories.
Okay, let me get this one because according to this particular report, they say the limitation of the study, one of them is there was a high non-response rate from public sector officials, resulting in heavy reliance on secondary qualitative data and input from non-state actors, meaning they...
So how did they reach out to us?
They tried to get in touch with you,
How
but
now?
they did not get a response.
So then the letter that they sent us around 16th of June, inviting us to the launch of unveiling the report, reached us, but apparently, according to them, the letter that probably or any correspondences which they made to us, asking us for our input, or even inviting us for validation, did not arrive.
Okay.
I mean, to me, that in itself is insincere, a kind of explanation coming from them. And to me, the motive is very clear, is very clear. Look at even the title. These are people who did not care. But let's now go back
What
to
would you say their motive? What do they really want to achieve with
they
this particular
politically
report?
look at you don't need even to read the whole report, to understand their motive. Look at the title itself. These are people who purport to defend human rights. You see, and I want to believe economic rights are very basic human rights. Economic rights for majority of Kenyans who cannot put food on the table, who are not being banked, who are not being served, because all along they had been, they're being seen as higher risk, especially young people. And if you see the cover photo itself, the pictures they put there, if you can read behind those images, they look like young people who they put there, and they're trying to send a certain message. To me, in this case, which is a political message, when they say that this fund was politically motivated and all those kind of things they're saying, tell me, which administration comes to power without making promises? And most of the time are political promises, which are supposed to be fulfilled. Instead of commending the President Ruto's administration for having made a promise to majority of young people, and it's not, and majority, because most of our borrowers are young people. Okay. Almost 69% of Hustler Fund borrowers are young people. And this request of this Hustler Fund intervention came actually from the Kenyans. It never even came from us. The Kenyans who say that the cost of credit was very high. They couldn't be served in the conventional, financing institution because of the collaterals that goes with that. Okay. They don't have land, and because of the high unemployment, they don't have pay slips to commit and stuff. Okay. So now, let me tell you one interesting finding which, according to these people who live out of reality of even what is happening in the market,
But they didn't interview, people that get it directly, because in their report they actually...
So then why do you come up with a report? So what was the intention? What was the objective of this study? I don't know if you people who were there during the unveiling of the report, as the media, you took your time to ask them. If you did not interview the people who implement, or even the people who are the beneficiaries, the policy makers, those who are implementing. So did you really meet the minimum threshold of conducting this study. Okay. They did not, but let me tell you what I found to be very interesting in their finding. Number one, they said, what can 500 do? We are a kadogo economy, so they need to know that the way our economy is structured is a kadogo kind of economy. We are micro entrepreneurs. We are micro consumers in this economy as we speak today. 98% of all our businesses are MSME. Mm-hmm. It's only 2% which are large enterprises. So to come back and say you cannot do anything with 500, how much does a mama mboga need to buy mboga from Ukulima market to put there? If not that 1,000, if not that 2,000, if it's not, how much does a boda need to put fuel into their motorbike and to start their day? I mean, and then look at what is happening in the market. In fact, the average loan ticket size of Hustler Fund is over 900 shilling. The average that people borrow out of all those 26 million people that are borrowing. Mm-hmm. But look at the market, because we have other digital lending products in the market. The average is about 250. Okay, so we were not far. In fact, Hustler Fund is giving more. So these people, they just came up with a report to have some sort of a tool, a political tool to advance whatever agenda that they had. No wonder they wanted to unveil this report on 24th of June last month.
So from what I'm getting from you is that, because the question has been in regards to the kind of amount of money that is actually being allocated and, being given to people in terms of, whether it is too small or enough for actually to start a business.
The people say it is too small.
Let's start from here. Is it now focusing on the people that are continuing with their businesses? Because somebody would argue and say 500 is not capital enough to start a business.
So Hustler Fund has 3 products so far. The first product is the personal loan product, which those people based their finding on, mainly based because they did not care to talk to policymakers to understand what else is in Hustler Fund, to understand other products. They did not care. And that's what I'm telling you. And I don't want to believe that they do not know. They know that Hustler Fund so far has launched 3 products because we have been launching these products in public. So we have the personal loan product, which was the first product that was launched with the fund on the 30th November 2022, where we started off with a base limit of 500 to about 50,000 shillings. Of course, you keep on earning your limit increase. And today, we have people actually who have hit that maximum 50,000 and they borrow anytime. So if someone was doing a business, obviously, and a business that requires that level of capitalization is being served by Hustler Fund. Then we launched the second product, which is group product on when was this? 2023 June. We launched the group product, and these group products will give opportunities for individuals and especially for women who likes working through groups. They can come together, and let me just say this. They can come together, and based on their credit rating, which now gives them a limit, they can aggregate their limit and then achieve the group limit. In that group product, people could borrow from 20,000 to even about $1 million, the way we opened up the limit. Then, last year, during the second anniversary of the Hustler Fund, we rolled out the bridge product, which is akin to SME financing product. There, we have people now, individual persons, not even groups, who can borrow up to 150,000. And today, as we speak, almost 600,000 people who graduated from now either the group or the personal loan, in terms of having achieved a good credit rating, you graduate because now their loan limit was now beyond the limit on the person. This is very important information because they said as if we had a plan for this fund. So now that we on the bridge product, we have Kenyans who are borrowing anytime because it's not even a daily cap to borrow. You can borrow anytime up to 150,000. based on their credit rating.
Okay.
But again...
So right now, on
and
the bridge
so
product,
for
you
more
get
than
close to 150,000 shillings. That is what
you
people
can
are
borrow
borrowing.
up to 150,000 shillings, and it's a term loan. They talked about 14 days. But the bridge product, you can now borrow within 30 days,
Okay.
and then you have a rollover of another 30 days. So it's a term loan.
All right.
So we have provided those opportunities.
Okay. You've dismissed this particular report now.
Yeah, because it's baseless.
Okay, I get
it's
that.
Malicious,
and
it has got a veiled political agenda.
Good. Now, I want to understand from you, what is the status of this particular fund? Now, what is the truth away from now the report?
Number one, when they say that we have not decentralized the fund, this is a purely digital lending product, which is leveraging on the milestone that we have made on mobile money technology. And you know very well that in terms of spread of mobile coverage, most households in this country are well served. So we have reached out to 26 million Kenyans. You do not just need even a smartphone. With a feature phone, the Mulika Mwizi, you can be served by Hustler Fund. That channel, *254# is zero-rated. You don't need to have any airtime to access it. Okay. So for them to say that is not physically or geographically, I don't know, spread out, that is wrong. That's not true. So what we are saying, this fund, if there is any devolved fund that we are talking about, is this fund.
What would you say is the rate of repayment when it comes to the loans that have been taken?
So we have served 26 million Kenyans. We have disbursed 73 billion, out of which 60 billion has been repaid. Of course, during the first 2 months of the fund, we had challenges because if you remember, at the point when we were launching this fund, there was some sort of political tension. So there were many people pulling from opposite direction, other leaders saying do not pay, others said pay because we had just come. Actually, this fund was launched in under 90 days after the general election. So I think at that point, the country had not yet stabilized in terms of now getting back to normalcy. But now where we are is that 26 million Kenyans, 18 years of age and above, have borrowed this fund amounting to 73 billion Kenyan shillings. 60 billion has been repaid. This is the only fund. This is the only catalytic fund or affirmative fund, if you like it, that has got a component on saving. And because of that, we introduced 5% saving. If you borrow, 5% of your borrowing goes to saving, mandatory saving.
All right.
30% will go to your short term, you can withdraw anytime. 70% will go to your long term. Today, we have mobilized close to 5 billion in saving. This is a fund.
So
and
5 billion, right now you're talking about 5
income.
billion in saving. That is the amount of money that Kenyans have saved on the Hustler Fund.
Yes.
The last time, you were before the National Assembly, you talked about the issue to do with, some people that had defaulted. What's the default rate at this time?
Around 20%.
20%?
Yes.
How much are we talking about?
So if we are talking about around 5 billion there. 5
billion?
Yes.
That is in default?
Yes.
So what happens in this particular case? Are we looking
at... So now let's talk about why this intervention. Even as you talk about default, I want also to talk about what has been the significant outcome of this. Number one, we have established credit profiles of all Kenyans. So the 2.5 years experience of this fund, almost now we are getting to 3 years experience of this fund. Whether you borrowed once and ran away, whether you borrowed and you've been borrowing, like now we have repeat borrowers of about 9 million. And then of course we have good borrowers that now we are graduating to higher loan limits and eventually want to graduate them to the bank so that they can get now to be served based on their good credit rating that is now available and it's visible now to the commercial bank. So, and those good borrowers are almost now 5 million, those who are rating between A's and B. Because now that experience, credit history, we crystallize it into a hustler fund behavioral rating system. And so even you today, if you are signed up to hustler fund and you'll dial *254#, you're able to see your rating.
Okay.
Now, what does that rating mean? That rating now demonstrates your creditworthiness, your ability and your willingness to borrow and repay. Because one of the challenge that was making the banks not to serve most of Kenyans is because most Kenyans at the bottom of the economic pyramid, because they are not visible in terms of their credit behavior. And you see, if you are not visible, they do not have the data footprints, which any bank can use and say, okay, fine, okay, you, I think we can trust you or we cannot trust you based on your experience. So Hustler Fund has also given them that experience.
Right.
The next reason why we came up with this intervention, and it's a policy intervention, was also to correct a market failure that lacked credit repair mechanism. Around that time that our administration came to office, we had many Kenyans who had been negatively listed in CRB. And you know, once you are listed in CRB, you remain in default rate even after you pay for almost 7. This is very critical because those people, they need to understand even why Hustler Fund, so that even as we talk about, we want to look at how it is failing, how it is not failing. They do it backed with facts and truth. So what happens, imagine almost 8 million Kenyans in CRB. 8 million Kenyans who are within productive age, cannot do anything, cannot go back and serve in the market, are in CRB. So the government will always come, because you cannot grow an economy when majority of people are outside there. So Hustler Fund has given a second chance to most of those people. And I can tell you today, the numbers that you're talking about, that now we are graduating them to even now bank, because now the bridge product, as the name suggests, is offering a platform where now these Hustler Fund beneficiaries who have been entirely been on the digital lending product can now start establishing relationship with the commercial bank. And you see, for you to be served in the bank, you must establish
relationship. Are these some of the people that were, part of the CRB or listed in the CRB that actually get into graduates?
Absolutely. Because then a Hustler Fund is a very unique partnership with the private sector, especially those in the banking sector and in telcos. And why we did this kind of framework, so that then they can also start developing trust in the good borrowers from Hustler Fund, who now we feel they can start being served against their credit rating, as opposed to the conventional collaterals of title deeds and many of those assets, based financing that most of those people cannot achieve.
As we wind up in 30 seconds, we talked about 5 billion Kenya shillings that has been defaulted. What is the plan when it comes to recovering that?
Let me tell you, first of all, I in this conversation, when you talk about 5 billion Kenyan shillings, which has been defaulted, but I also want you to flip the coin. And what is the default rate in the market today as we speak? Because we are not operating in a different market. We are operating in the same market. The other day, the Association of Digital...
So this will say it's the risk of the business?
Just listen. It cannot get lost. You know why it cannot get lost? I just told you. Every Hustler Fund